Good day and welcome to another week at the plot. It's Wednesday morning around 10 o'clock. I've done about half an hour's strimming. The grass is really wet and I've always said to you, try not to trim grass when it's wet because you use a lot more twine if you've got a twine strimmer, and you blunt the blades if you use a metal or a plastic bladed strimmer. But needs must, and I've been able to get down here today. It's the third day of sunshine that we've had. Haven't been able to get down here on Monday or Tuesday, but I'm going to help with the water switch off for the site in a few minutes. And I thought I'd come down a bit earlier than was needed just to strim, even though I knew the grass was going to be really wet. We're due drizzle and rain over the coming days. I believe it's going to get a little chillier as well. It's only about 7 degrees at the moment, but because the sun is out it just feels that much warmer. But yeah, even though I knew the grass was going to be really wet, I wanted to give it a strim, even if it used up more twine, because if I didn't, I felt I wasn't going to get another strim done until possibly next week, by which time it will be even longer. So I hope to be back down this afternoon to rake up what I have strimmed. I don't think I'll be planting or sowing broad beans this afternoon, but if I get down this afternoon I will carry on sorting out that bed, and we'll just have a quick look at that now. The netting that I've got on top of the Santolina on the right here, that's to protect the broad beans when I have sown them. Excuse me. Protect over the winter months, mainly from wind and heavy rain, so that they get a good start into next spring. It's something that Vivi always did, and when I covered my broad beans a couple of years ago on the bed behind the one that has got netting on, they did really well. When I sowed them last year, you may remember, we had quite strong winds and it was quite bitter, even more bitter. No, not as bitter as the year before, but because I hadn't netted them, they just didn't grow as well, and we got very few broad beans, you may remember, the last growing season. Anyway, let's have a quick look at where the broad beans are going to go. You can most probably see the brassicas, the shape of the brassicas through the netting in this light. Maybe you can, I can. This is where the broad beans are going to go this year. I've got this going to seed, can't remember what that is, but that I really like. I'll need to find out what the name of that is. We've got some calendula, I can't speak this morning, calendula in here and feverfew. We've got some of this as well, the pink, which I've forgotten for the moment. The tenant who wanted the verbascum has taken those out. I need to pot on the buddleia and then just weed this side of the bed. I mean, most of this calendula I'm going to move to the back, and that feverfew as well. I'll see if anyone wants some feverfew. Anyway, look at this chicory. Look at that. Look at the leaf on that. God, that is pretty spectacular. Yeah. Anyway, the fellow tenant has come, the one that actually dug this out, the verbascum, has come to do the water turn off, so I'll see you shortly. It is gloriously sunny, as you can most probably see. I should be doing this in the poly, but it's just a sort of quick catch up, so I hope you can see me. We've switched the water off for the site, so there's two other people. There's one who's now looking after the water instead of me. So this is sort of the end. We switched the water back on together turned it off last year, turned it back on together, and this is a turn off again. So that person really knows what they're doing. There's another person who's on the committee that is now helping that person as well. So that's really good. Gosh, I'm gonna have to take this off. That's really good. So we've done that. So we shut off the tap, the main stopcock, if you like, having taken a reading, and then we go around the site because it's all on a loop, and we open the taps. Let any water drain out, and then we open the taps fully, let any water drain out, and then turn them back a turn and a half, and that empties the taps and the pipes, so that if there is any freezing over the winter, hopefully it won't damage anything. So that's been done. So that's great, and we've had a little chat. They've had their first committee meeting without me. So that was quite nice to know that was going on, and I didn't know about it, which is lovely, which is fine, which is how it should be. Actually, we should know about it, because the member should be able to take something to the committee, to speak to a committee member, to take something to the committee for discussion. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Not my bag anymore. Not my bag anymore. Right. I am going to go because it's quite bright and I need to get home. I'm expecting a DPD delivery and I need to do some stuff at my desk, but tying in the strimming this morning with knowing that I was going to be doing that water turn off job or helping with that, I've done a job today. If I'm back later, it won't be on camera, but it will just be tidying up that bed. Otherwise, we'll pick up with things later in the week. Actually, if I come back later, I'll most probably be raking up all the grass that I've cut today and putting it into our perennial weed bin. I'll do it into 2 piles. There's somewhere there are perennial weeds, so I'll put them into 1 pile. And where we have no perennial weeds, I'll put that into a different pile. That pile will go straight into our compost bin, and the ones with perennial weeds in are like, dandelions and particularly cinquefoil and bindweed, if there is any, will go into our perennial weed bin. It's a very quiet plane going over. With that, I will say goodbye. See you again soon. Bye. Bye. Good day. We're at West Wycombe. The mausoleum and church is up there somewhere, I think. We've just come up this path that we don't normally come up. And there's so many yews here. Really old. Look at them. And this one has clearly died. But look, from the base, it's sprouted again and is growing rather healthily. I do love yews. Look at that. That one's really fallen over. This one, again, many of those branches have died, but it's still going strong. We're going up this way, hoping that it bends around towards the mausoleum. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, it's quite a long walk back down and then back up. There was a set of steps which were held in by tree roots down there. Don't know why I didn't take a video when we were coming up it, or I was. But you can see up there the church spire and the ball in which they used to have their interesting meetings, let's say. More yews, which we sort of know, because I think if I go up this path we'd get to the car park. Rather lovely views across there. Here's Richard coming up. He's taken views from below the steps that we came up. Oh, look, molehill. Yeah, we're at the car park. At least we know where we are. We decided to sit down on the bench, and as we were having our cup of tea, you might be able to see the sun is trying to break through. That field over there is just looking that little bit brighter. Really is quite low cloud though, so I'm not sure how much we're going to get. We came in where those people are coming over there. I think those cars are cars of dog walkers, because the actual car park, look at all the yews. The actual car park, apart from bits of plastic, is completely empty. Lots of yews. I'd love to propagate a yew. We've got one in our back garden, so there's no issue with having access to propagate. They're you know, they're such mystical, magical trees, and of course poisonous too, which is always intriguing. And then we come around here. Hopefully there won't be any other people, to the church gate. Oh look, there's a defibrillator. Can't say it. And cemetery, which has been used in many Hammer horror films. And the ball and the door at the top. Here are the first yew berries that I've seen. They look so fake and waxy always. They are rather lovely. And of course very Christmassy in many ways. The whole graveyard that side, apart from that one tree there losing its leaves, is yew.
It's a sacred tree, wasn't it?
Yeah, sacred tree, yeah.
Sacred tree, and also a symbol of everlasting life, because it was evergreen and just seemed to grow
And live forever.
and live forever, yeah, which they kind of do, I guess.
Well, we saw that one down rejuvenating itself. Richard's taking the view down there, and I'm looking here. I've never noticed that. There used to be a gate here, look. I don't remember seeing that before. Yeah, I'm sure we've come this way before. Definitely a bit of history, that. Mind you, when you think of it, everything is a bit of history, isn't it? And then the mausoleum. When I first came here when I was 18, it was open to the public, you could go in, but not anymore, not for, well, not since we've been coming here as a couple. Yeah, that's the Bucks countryside, and that's the road that we're going to be going back down in an hour or so. Again, you can see many more yews in this local landscape. Quite extraordinary. Look at this flint. Gorgeous. Right. I'm going to leave it there for this segment. See you again at the plot very soon. Bye. Oh, and if you want more of the mausoleum, because Richard will have far more photos and video than me, have a look at his vlogs. Bye. Good day. I came down here to get our broad beans in, get the buddleia out, which I've done, get the calendula out and replanted, which I've done. I was going to put some into a trough, and I put the compost in, and there were so many worms in it that I decided to just put it on the bed. I've got some other compost, so I've used that. But what I have noticed is, apart from some sancfoil at the edge there, there's quite a lot of bittercress in here. And because I've been chatting since I got down here, I don't really have time to sort this out today, so I'm going to come back and do it tomorrow. Yeah, because look, there's a lot coming up, and I want to finger weed most of that out. Otherwise it will just propagate further and further. Anyway, at least I've got the feverfew, the buddleia, the comfrey and the calendula out. That's something. And I've replanted some of these into the bed that is just going to be flowers next year. I wanted to bring down this grape that I was gifted yesterday. It must be about 4 foot, yeah, about a 4 foot cannon hall grapevine from Guernsey. And as I was coming down, on a wall was this trough which I thought would be useful, which has fallen off the table, as is the want this week with various things. But yeah, very happy to have this. I'll explain why in a mo. As I said, I came down to bring this Cannon Hall grape down. This is a 2-year-old cutting from Guernsey. Guernsey, as well as being well known for tomato growing, and coming on to that in a minute, it was also well known for grape growing many years ago, for table grapes. And the variety that was grown was Cannon Hall. And even when I was a kid, we used to go to vineries and thin out the grapes. So, you know, grapes come in bunches, and if you don't thin out the grapes, you get really small grapes. The more you thin the grapes out, the fewer grapes you have, but the larger they are. And Cannon Hall is quite a delicious large variety. Anyway, there is a photo somewhere of me on my Uncle Len's shoulders on top of a plank that is going across the top of 2 wooden ladders, thinning grapes with little scissors, thinning scissors, specialist scissors of course. Incredibly precarious. I must have been about 20 foot up in the air. And yeah, it's a hilarious photo when you think about health and safety these days. I'll see if I can dig it out. If I can, I'll pop it in here. But it's one that I try and find, and I find every couple of years. Anyway, when we went to Guernsey last year and stayed with our friends who found out about us through my writing of a Guernsey gardener in London, they had a Cannon Hall grape, which is not easily purchasable, in their greenhouse. Small greenhouse, I think it's most probably 12 by 10, something like that. Or, I mean, larger than ours, but still quite a small greenhouse. And it was doing so well. And I said, oh, I'd love to have a Cannon Hall. You know, one day if you take a cutting, let me know. Anyway, he actually got this cutting from a person who used to be a big Cannon Hall grape grower in Guernsey. So its true stock is proven, if you like. So I'm very, very grateful to have met them yesterday. Again, haven't seen them for about 6 months, I think, and to be gifted this, absolutely fabulous. And today I haven't really got done what I was going to do. I wanted to sow my broad beans. When I came down here, there were a few people here who wanted to chat. There was my plot neighbour, one down, who's got the 2 plots there now. We had quite a long chat. She was talking about how she's finding it difficult to make new friends at her age, and with the internet it's difficult to find out where. She doesn't have easy internet access, and she's sort of trying to find things to do in the area that align with her interests, and is finding it quite difficult. So I've given her a few tips on where she may be able to go to get help, and of course the local library is a really good resource as well. And I started doing things here. I saw the Hairy Bittercress there and thought, no, I have to weed that out before I sow the broad beans, because that will just proliferate over the winter if I don't do that. And then a plot neighbour 2 over, they're looking at getting a greenhouse. So they were looking at various greenhouses and how they get secured. And of course there's a neighbour over there has got a greenhouse which they grow in. It's got a lintel, a concrete lintel, but they grow directly in the ground, unlike ours, which of course is fully slabbed. because we're not going to do any ground growing in there. So we were looking at the different options and discussing how to secure and things like that. Another little interruption then from somebody who was standing at the side of my plot, clearly wanted to ask me something. So I went and helped them with something. So it's now sort of 10 or 15 minutes later, so it's a bit darker yet, I think. Anyway, yes, so we were talking about greenhouses, and anyway, the person that I was talking about the greenhouses then gave me a little present. Guernsey Island tomato seeds from the Kooanga Institute in New Zealand. Very happy to have these. We were sent some several years ago by one of our New Zealand subscribers, and I have shared those around, and I realized about 2 weeks ago I've only got 2 or 3 seeds left, so I was really pleased to be given these. So that was lovely. And then the person that I was talking to just then wanted some help with something, so I've helped them with what they wanted, and they've offered me an ornamental banana plant in return, which of course they need to be looked after and coddled. But she's got 2 in her shed at the moment, and next week or the week after, when our trips to the plot coincide, we're going to pop them on, and one of them is going to go into my greenhouse. It will die back, and I will have to fleece it to make sure that it doesn't die off during the winter, and fingers crossed we will see that grow next year. Where the grape is going to go, I will pot it on next week and put it in the greenhouse for over the winter. Where it goes after that, I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll find out when we find out. But what I haven't got done today is the thing that I came down to do, which is sow our broad beans. So I've got Aqueducty Claudia, which is a really good overwintering variety, and Masterpiece Green Long Pod, which I've not grown before, but again it's another good overwintering variety. So I think tomorrow I'll come down, not on camera because I'm going to finish it off here, and weed that bed, put a bit more compost on top of the bed, and then we'll sow them early next week, and also pot on the grape. Yeah, so already planning things for next week. And it is getting very dark now, so I'm going to go, hoping that you can still see me. Whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, I hope you are being gifted things and you are gifting things to others, because as people who work with plants and propagate and grow and give, we know the joys of giving, and we know the joys of receiving. So I hope you are having some of that joy of giving and receiving in your gardens, growing spaces and allotments. Any comments, any questions on this rather bizarre week at the plot? Are they always? I don't know, but this one feels even a bit more bizarre, with trotting off yesterday up to High Wycombe and seeing the mausoleum and the churchyard and all of that, and thinking about propagating yews. I did have a look at the yew in our back garden this morning, thought, yeah, I can propagate from that. So yeah, it's an eclectic week at the plot, certainly. And there's a few ducks going over. They're most probably finding somewhere to roost for the night before it gets totally dark. I will see you on Planet Vegetaria, if you are there, through next week with further segments of a week at the plot, or in a week's time there'll be another full upload on YouTube. Whatever you're doing in your garden, I hope you're having fun. See you very soon, and happy growing. Bye.